It's a nasty shot into the middle pocket. I mean, surely he can put the extension on his cue, and this is hard.
Is it going to reach? Is it going to reach? Can you believe it? When you're striking down on the ball like that, you've got to just give it a little bit more pace.
It's out. You won't see him taking that red over the centre unless he has to. If that red is so far into the pocket, he may even be able to use that red along the cushion to knock it in.
9.
Do you think if he caught the side of it, with that red just up the cushion, it could cut it in?
Well, it's so close to the pocket. Any contact on that red would send it in, but
16.
it'd be fascinating to see how he goes about this, because he's only got 2 easy reds, and then the other 3 are quite difficult.
He needs to try and knock the 2 reds out on the top cushion whilst that red's over the middle. That's what he's
17.
played. What's the angle like? Doesn't look bad.
Can you just put it down, please? Please, just put it down. Thank you.
Not sure what it was. Can you just put it down? So I'm not sure what one of the spectators was holding. Meanwhile, have a look where the white's finished.
No.
24.
Just couldn't. There's a bit too wide an angle on that black, up and down. We saw this shot yesterday, didn't we?
25.
Yeah, it was the opposite side of the table, Anthony McGill and Kyron. It was just breathtaking what was happening when the red was over that opposite middle pocket.
But being forced to play that red has made the clearance a lot harder.
31. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 31.
Ronnie not quite as good as John Higgins at doubles. I've never seen anybody better than John Higgins taking on those particular types of shot. No attempt at the pot there. That was a safety shot, and I think he may.
As important as every other.
1.
I think if Kyron loses this, it would be worse for his mental state out there than it would be if Ronnie lost.
I think he was trying to leave an angle on the blue to pot it and bring the difficult green into play. Don't know if he can do it now. He couldn't.
Six.
This is where his left hand could come in very useful as we show you that positional shot, but this is tough. It wobbled a few times, but that's where being able to change hands is so useful. Still needs a good brown though. No. Where's the cue ball going to finish? And pink available. pink available into the left corner pocket.
8. $14. $15.
May have let that cue ball run on just a fraction more than he wanted. So more to do with the cue ball. He's lined those up pretty
21.
well.
$22.
That's a confident strike. Some players would have just tried to roll that in.
$28. $29.
The last 4 or 5 shots, he's hardly let the cue ball travel more than 12 inches.
$35.
Delicate little stun and screw shots there.
$36.
That's not the best. Gone a bit too far. He was hoping to have an angle on the pink to pot it and move the reds. Travelled a little too far for that. Left for one of these tricky ones along the cushion and needs a little bit of pace on it to get out for the black.
42.
This not guaranteed.
$43.
Didn't force it too much, but it's still a tricky little cutback with the black. And now he's got another couple of reds in potable positions.
50.
So looking pretty good here in this third frame.
$51. $57. $58.
For all of the mistakes Ronnie O'Sullivan made in the last frame, how quickly he wipes the slate clean and puts that behind him, and then
65.
we're talking once again about how brilliantly fluent he is, how easy he
66.
makes break building look. It's a great asset to have. I think it's what got him over the line against Mark Selby last night.
Yes, once he gets in amongst the balls,
73.
he's been devastating, really. As I say, his long putt success rate has
75.
improved. It was down at 48% at one stage in the semi-final, but it's getting better again. Both players at 60% in the long putt success department.
$80.
No century
80 in the
break.
frame.
He won't be too disappointed about
Ronnie
that. Kyron took a long red on, didn't get it, and that was his last shot. Ronnie O'Sullivan, with that break of 80, takes a 2-1 advantage.
Yep, and that is exactly what Ronnie O'Sullivan does. That's why this guy is so supremely talented, Ken.
Yeah, it's amazing. As Steve said, he has that great ability, and all the great champions had that. When you have a bad frame, he just forgets about it like it never existed, gets on with the next one. And in 5 or 6 minutes, 7 minutes, he has another frame on the board. It's very intimidating to play against, and it puts pressure on every single shot, because you've sat down like Curran has in the chair. Maybe that will upset his opponent, winning that scrappy frame, and then Ronnie comes out and dishes them up. He played one shot at the back of the black. This is along the cushion. Now, these are quite nippy along this cushion, and particularly with the pace. I mean, you see a lot of players try and drop them in dead weight, but he's played it in beautifully and played a lovely black just to continue to break. But when he's in that flowing mode, I mean, it's just amazing to watch.
We've said it so many times, haven't we, Stephen?
Yeah, that's what I said. If he gets in early in the frame, the frame's over, more often than not.
With the rest against Judd Trump, he potted 24 out of 24, but he did start missing a few with the rest in his semi-final against Anthony McGill, which is a rare sight.
Yeah, I wonder if he was concerned with the brown there with his arm. Made him strike the ball differently. He ended up very close to the brown, where it looked like it from this angle.
$8.
Yeah, I think the brown was just distracting him slightly there.
$9.
The last thing he wanted to do was to leave Ronnie in amongst the black again with a few open reds.
Yeah, he left himself a bit to do from after potting the blue, really, with that red. Chance here for Ronnie O'Sullivan to punish.
16. $17. $22.
Just those 5 reds there. The other one's no problem, but he's got the perfect angle on the black to develop probably them all. Played for this loose one, but I'm just wondering if there's a possible plant there into the left
30.
corner in a couple of shots' time. And there is.
31.
Maybe that's why Ronnie didn't go straight into them on that occasion. If he's straight on the black, he's got to screw back and over to the other side of the plant, which he's done nicely. So he had spotted that earlier, and that was the reason
38.
he didn't cannon into them. And that's why the white's finished up where it has. The second red jumped is unbelievable there. I mean, that took everything out of the... Just have a look at this. Well, the first red, that was amazing how far it left the bed of the table, spoiled the position slightly. But a great recovery. Terrific recovery shot from Ronnie O'Sullivan there.
44. $45. $52.
That's incredible how that first red jumped in the air there.
53.
I'll be straight on the black. He's looking to see if the red will go in the right middle pocket, but if he's straight, he can screw back with reverse side. Well, he's not straight, so he still tried it. Oh, he's left it for the middle.
60. $61.
And also the thing when you're playing Ronnie O'Sullivan, you know, if you make a mistake, it might be your last mistake in the frame, and that's
60.
proven the case a couple of times so far.
69. $74.
Well, maybe it's that pocket. Karen's missed 4 out of 5 reds into that pocket. Ronnie's just missed one.
1.
One good positional shot here, and he'd have a great chance. Think he might just be okay.
4. $5.
He's got them where he wants them now. He seems reluctant to pot the red in the right corner and cannon the red to the left of the black. He'd prefer to do it without having to play a cannon, but he may have to here. Nope, didn't want to risk that for some reason. I mean, the red's available, so he was taking that element, a risk, out of play there.
May need 2
80.
of these 6 reds on the top cushion to win the frame.
90. 24. 25. 32. 33. 40.
'Well, I think he's completely mishit that. Surely he didn't play that. Couldn't have possibly, sure. Well, we'll never know.
Well, the first attempt looked like he was trying to hit 2 cushions and get down off the red. Second attempt, it looked as if he played that shot, and maybe he was unlucky to catch the red over the left side of the table.
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't hit it hard enough to get back down the table, so I think he just misjudged the shot. Wasn't in the heart of the pocket. That's why he's not on the pink as well as he'd like. He can cut the blue in and out of baulk. It's not that difficult. Don't think the yellow's in the way.
Extreme pressure here.
Well, Karan's got to hope that the colours come to his rescue, you feel, though nothing's certain at the moment. Perhaps the blue and the green could be problematic for Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Eight. Nine.
Didn't really get that much action on the cue ball there, so he's a bit wider than he would have wanted. Not easy to get the right position on the yellow to then get on the green. Is it in? Yes. Has he got the angle? Yes, as well, to screw across the face
11.
of it.
He's got to get across anywhere in the circle. Has he got the angle to do that? It's not quite
13.
far enough. It's difficult now.
Well, good double, and possibly that red that was over the middle pocket made it a bigger hole, but didn't get on the black, so needs to get tight in behind it if he can.
Would you play this cushion first before the pocket to get? I think it's the only way you can get tight in behind it.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 1.
Maybe Ronnie he wants to leave Karen Wilson the red in the bulk area because it's not the easiest safety shot.
Actually, quite good thinking from Ronnie, that. Initially you're thinking get tight in behind it, but he's just basically covered the 2 reds on the right.
Foul.
Well, answers on
And
a
a miss.
postcard for that one.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 4.
That was never anywhere near. So another chance to get back into the frame.
One.
The redness next to the yellow looks from our angle one of them instances where it's hard to know which pocket it goes into, the right, middle or the left corner. Don't know whether it's actually touching the yellow. See, from there it doesn't look like it goes in the middle, but it could be wrong. Obviously does.
Kidded me. I thought it was
8.
definitely wants to take the other side and back into the same pocket as the black, but he's satisfied it goes.
Nine.
Lovely angle in the black, just screw past the left middle pocket. So this is a shot.
16.
Does he risk screwing back for blue or pink? Probably not pink, because I don't know where if it goes in its own spot, so maybe just out for the green. I would say blue is the best ball to play for.
17.
Hit it beautifully.
What a steal this would be. It's taking him 2 bites of the cherry, but it's going to hurt just the same. Split on the reds earlier than this frame is going to hurt Kyron severely.
22.
Stuck on the reds in the middle. He's not coming at a great angle here.
$24.
He played that really well.
$27. $31.
Nothing worse than having a frame stolen. You should have won earlier, especially when you're trying to play catch up.
$36.
Now, he hasn't come straight, has he? Can you believe that? Anything bar.
Well, it was almost worse than straight. It was just off straight the wrong way, but look at the
42.
power he's got in the cue ball there, but this is not a nice black. What a steal from Ronnie O'Sullivan. Took him 2 or 3 bites of the cherry. Oh, Wilson, very disappointed to lose that first frame. It trails now 7 frames to 2.
Well, Karen, the warrior Wilson, has got an even tougher fight on his hand now, Steve.
Yeah, it was a grafting clearance from Ronnie O'Sullivan. Nearly looked like he would have gone wrong, but Ronnie played a clever shot towards the end of that frame to give himself a chance. See, he's on the black here, and we were discussing in the studio, Ken, what was he going to do? Roll up in tight behind the black, but then the black keeps safe, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was a very clever shot because he needs the black out in the open. So what does he do here? He sort of forces in his opponent to maybe take the red up on the left-hand side to bring that into play, but Corrin tries to get out of
That was one heck of a chance he passed up there, and he knows it. You could see he was slightly embarrassed there, going back to his chair. Only make one from that. And you're not going to win the match missing those against Ronnie O'Sullivan, who will just get more and more encouraged by you not taking your chances. Just worrying signs. I thought he was looking a little better, but that was a chance he had to score a few off.
9.
Oh, huge kick there. He's lucky he's still got a pot on.
16.
Watch the black leave the bed of the table. Wow.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 16.
Okay, the kick stopped him being in perfect position, but I still expected Ronnie to pot that red to the middle. It looked in when he first hit it. It seemed to dive a little bit to the right knuckle. But he's definitely exasperated with his cue action. I think he's become obsessed with it.
1.
So if you're going into the reds here, you've got to miss the pink at just by the right hand side as we look. Don't need a lot of pace in here. Didn't get enough stun on the cue ball. Didn't get any stun on the cue ball.
Once again, struggling with the cue ball in this particular visit. Just making life so much harder for himself.
It's bad because you don't want to keep criticising someone that's 7-2 behind, but you got to say what you say, haven't you? It was just a bad shot.
Karen Wilson, 6.
Yeah, it's all a little bit of a struggle at the moment. This is a tough bit of cueing though.
1.
It was very well played. Nice strike that. Hitting down slightly. To cue through the ball straight there. Yeah, black spot occupied, so up to the brown.
8.
Yeah, that's straightforward, this to get up for a colour. Only had a little look at the pink before from that position. Thinks it's potable. Can't really get out and up for the blue. Yeah, something about it he doesn't like. So digging into the cue ball. Yep.
9.
Horrible situation.
Wow. That's incredible. Didn't even look at the blue.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 9.
7-2 up and didn't look at the blue. That tells you something about how confident he is of potting middle distance balls. Then we had him against Selby when he was going for absolutely everything.
Yep. Mind you, he wasn't 5 frames in front in that match.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the way the match is going at the moment, he doesn't need a long game. But still, that was an amazing shot choice there. Maybe not the shot choice, but the way he didn't even consider the blue. Great shot. That's exactly where he wanted to put the cue ball.
Yep. Playing some decent safety here. Don't know whether Aaron can see the red on the left hand side, whether the yellow's blocking it off. I don't think you can see that. It's very close. Well, he thinks he can. Just for the safety, is it? Only thing in Karen's favour here is it slightly hampered cueing wise. To change his bridge hand. At the moment,
Foul.
I
Karen
was to say he seems to be picking him off, but the cue ball going in there stops that. Maybe he has. One of these might have to put a bit aside on this if he's going to pot it, which makes it a lot more difficult. Yeah, there's a little trace aside going on.
One.
That was a brilliant shot. Absolutely brilliant shot. Had to play that with left hand side, swerve it, pot it, and then of course it ran off the 2 cushions to absolute perfection. At the moment, Stephen, you just got to say
8. 1.
you're playing no risk and winning snooker.
It's amazing again when you go back to before the last 3 frames. Mark Selby, he was just throwing his cue at everything. When he was snookered, he was just hitting the ball 100 mile an hour, and now he's playing absolute granite snooker. So from one
16.
extreme to the other. But as we've both said, there's no need for him to take any risks at the moment.
17.
No, the object of the exercise is always to win, and if he considers that's the way he's doing it, And he's going to carry on because the scoreline's certainly looking very pretty for him. He thinks he's got his man.
23. $24. 31.
So, just needs this red in the middle, which is there.
32.
Oh, this hasn't been riveting from Ronnie O'Sullivan. It's been very effective, good match play. Probably played more safety shots in this frame than he's played in the last session against Mark
39.
Selby. Just played good, honest match play.
40.
Nothing wrong with that.
$46. 48. $51.
Well, not there, but that very solid 51 break with a fantastic opening red is good enough. And as Ronnie O'Sullivan leaves the auditorium, Kyron Wilson has got plenty to ponder as he's 8-2 behind.
Ronnie's been talking about his cue action overnight since last night's drama. He's been talking about it, not us guys. So let's have a little look about it. The thing that strikes me, he's here without a coach right now. If you've got a coach, he sends you out there with this method or that method and you stick with it. Ronnie's experimenting out there. There's a shot from this afternoon in the last frame of the session. If we run it on, he feathers usually maybe once or twice. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a hesitation and he goes again. Decelerates through the cue ball. You see the disappointment in him. The cue ball should be back on the top cushion there, putting Kyron in trouble. He's definitely still searching for something out there.
Played for the pack further down, and because he's hit the pink, he's kept the cue ball. He's paying lower than that with that cue ball there. And this is on. What's so harsh about this game? Ronnie didn't play that snooker behind the yellow, and Kyron knows it. He's just got to sit and suffer. Can be so frustrating, this game. Satisfied the pink is going to go at the back of the pack, closest to its spot. Ronnie doesn't think that's going to go on there. But looking at that, it will. Oh, it won't. Bit of a delicate operation here. Wouldn't be a great time to sneeze, would it?
One.
And there's a good pot from distance from Ronnie O'Sullivan. Big ask to win the frame at this visit. And again, another ping off the cushion there. That black cushion is
8.
I wouldn't say it's unplayable yet, but it's certainly getting there.
9.
Yeah, may have been doing Karen an injustice if that's certainly the case, not to leave himself level on the black.
And maybe that shot will just give him a little bit of inspiration. Just seems to be
8.
flat. Well, I have to say for the majority of this final so far today, he's looked a bit flat.
9.
Yeah, good pot, and the red that's
14.
just below the pink is available.
$15. $21. $22.
Not the cannon he would have liked, so a little bit closer with the cue ball to the cushion. Hit that well.
But again, that was a strange bounce off the
29.
cushion there. Came up very square. From not much angle on the black.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 29. Foul. Carolyn Wilson, 1.
The worst
Ronnie
thing that could
O'Sullivan,
have happened. Potted the blue, must have been delighted with the cannon he got, and then he's knocked one in the corner. And look at the way he's left them. Yeah, it can happen, but you can't really legislate for that. And if Ronnie O'Sullivan was looking for an easy chance, it's just presented itself.
Well, looking at the reds,
1.
we've talked about the cushions being a bit bouncy, but he hardly needs to use cushions the way these reds are situated.
$8. $9.
Wasn't bothered about sacrificing that red to the black cushion. These 3 open reds with 3 blacks will be enough to secure
16.
this frame.
17.
Yeah, and of course guarantee him a lead for tomorrow, whatever happens, in the remaining 2 frames of this evening session. So he'll
24.
definitely be in front tomorrow. Just a matter of by how much.
25. $32. 33. $40. 41. 48.
No, it's not there, but I'm not too bothered about that. After losing the last 4 frames, it's Ronnie O'Sullivan. After Karen Wilson very unfortunately knocked the red in the corner pocket, who wins a frame. And now it's 9-6, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Thank you, John. Sometimes in sport, it goes for you, like it did for Karen Wilson yesterday against Anthony McGill. And sometimes the snooker gods can look down on you.
Yeah, went against him there. He was very unlucky. I mean, he took the more positive shot of the blue into the pack, and you can't really legislate for this. I mean, he's part of the good blue, but the red's
Look
gone in.
at that.
If the red doesn't go in...
And he's just an absolute mile away with him. I mean, if anything at the moment, if I was Karen, definitely a refusal. Oh, and what a flick that is. He gets, oh, he's had the ultimate. He's had a flick off the red and a lovely kiss on the brown. What a sickener for him.
Yeah, the last frame that he lost was he went into the bunch of reds and the red went in the corner pocket. It's maybe dealt another blow due to bad fortune.
Five.
Horrible.
6.
Yeah, absolutely nothing you can do about that. Just one of the cruel fates of the game, I'm afraid.
$13.
Can Ronnie find that bit of concentration that's been lacking?
$19. $20. $26.
Not the easiest selection of reds here.
27.
All lined up, covering each other into the pocket, so you'll have to figure it out.
$33. $34.
Yeah, that one removed and turned, makes the red that's next to the black potable.
$40.
Wow. You can't believe how big a kick that was. Okay, maybe luck evens itself out. You got a fluke to get in there, but wow, this is just horrendous, the path that this red took.
I mean, this is just completely gone the wrong way.
One. Nine.
Yeah. Luck does play a part in sport, of course, and it can sometimes be the difference between winning and losing. It just remains to be seeing what Ronnie can make of that bit of fortune. Taking the blue here, make cannon into the yellow and free up that red into the same pocket. Oh, is he on it? I don't think so. Didn't get the right connection on the yellow.
There's a big shot coming up, Kent. Last night couldn't buy a long ball. If you can't see that near the yellow, that went on the right hand side. Well, he thinks he can just sneak it in with a bit of side. No, so here's that shot we were on about. Last night he wasn't hitting the jaws.
A tester early for Ronnie O'Sullivan here. Yeah, good shot. He didn't have to play it with pace, and that may have helped, but big shot here, black into the reds. It went in.
Yeah, it's noticeable with that long shot that Ronnie played the drag. As we show him the split into the pack. I think he's on the bottom red there. Yeah, when he's played that long red, he's played it with a drag as opposed to the hard stun or the screw. They were the ones he really struggled with. This one, when he drags it, still a very good shot, of course, but his percentage is a lot higher playing it that way.
Yeah, good shot. And now there's a few loose reds to play on here. And how crucial will that fluke turn out to be? Sometimes it's not the luck, it's what you make of it.
Both players look better, Ken, don't they?
I was just going to say, he looks a lot fresher today, Ronnie O'Sullivan. And this break will tell a little story about how he's feeling.
And let's not forget, from Ronnie's case as well, he's had an extra match. I know it was an easier one where he beat Tep Chaya 10-1, but Kyron got a bye in the first round from Anthony Hamilton not playing, so he's played a bit more snooker.
$39.
Well, that's an interesting stat there. He's played more matches, Ronnie O'Sullivan, but he's actually table time has been 2.5 hours less than Corin Wilson. That's an incredible statistic. He's played that nicely for red to left centre.
46.
Well, problems start to arise here. Where's the next? He's got to get a nice angle there. He was putting the cue down the table just to try and get a nice angle on this pink, maybe, to go into the pack. He's thinking a couple of shots ahead here.
$47.
Now, what sort of an angle and what sort of pace can he generate on the cue ball here to go into the pack of 6 reds? He's a little grimace. May have to come off the cushion. How's his look this time? It's not good. So hasn't won the frame from this visit.
53.
But he does have a very healthy 53-point lead.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 53.
Yeah, nice break. Be disappointed he didn't win the frame from that position, but he may have left Corin Wilson a cross double here, John. Safety shot. But this red could go very close to this left middle pocket.
It's going close now. Not Kyron's turn to fluke one in the middle. I fancy knocking this one in myself, Ken.
Don't get too carried away, John. He's having a little giggle to himself. It's a good sign, actually. He seems relaxed.
1.
Yeah, he'd be disappointed where that red finished. I think that's what you have to do, John. I mean, he's playing in his first World Final. Oh, that cue ball's travelled on too far. He's not on this red. So there's still a glimmer of hope for Karen Wilson in this frame.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 6.
It's amazing the small margins can make the difference between winning and losing the frame.
I mean, if you ask somebody to play that positional shot and leave it right there, you couldn't do if you tried. The one time he's played it, it's just glued to the red. And he comes down, must think it's going to be perfect. And the one place you can't pot one is right there.
Oh, this is a long way away. This is a poor shot.
Tournaments you've played in, this is one of your most important clearances ever. Missed it.
Karen Wilson, 15.
Well, I didn't see that coming, to be honest. Didn't expect him to miss that, and that's just pressure. Nothing else. And he's
1.
gifted the frame now to Ronnie O'Sullivan, and it'll be a very relieved Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Funny thing is, he'd done all the hard work, hadn't he?
Yeah.
Played a, shot on the blue there, cracking clip in the middle pocket with the red. And really
9.
bog standard pink for these players.
I think we're going to have a lot of frames like this, John, in this final. A lot of swings and roundabouts for sure. So
16.
tense out there, so dramatic, but
17.
real pure sport.
Yeah, that's what changes scorelines, isn't it? Winning those frames you shouldn't win. And for all the world, he looked like he wasn't going to win it, then got thrown that lifeline I mentioned. And well, the great champions, they nick those frames, don't they?
24.
Certainly do. Make a huge difference. A couple of times now he could have got to within one frame.
27.
But the gap will go back to 3 for Ronnie O'Sullivan.
31.
But both players looking a lot fresher, a lot sharper. And that's good signs for the rest of this final for sure. Ronnie O'Sullivan, even though he's had a couple of chances, he still looks a lot better than he did last night.
42.
Yeah, nice clearance from the 5-time champion. He takes the second frame and holds on to the advantage. He leads Karen Wilson by 11 frames to 8.
So apparently they were playing Disco Inferno in the arena and Burn Baby Burn. That's what we want. A bit more of that.
Oh, I think Kyron's got to take these chances if he's going to win this final. He can't afford to be, you won't get many chances to pinch frames of Ronnie O'Sullivan and really hurt him psychologically, and that was a chance. And, it's all right winning.
Probably thought that was in the minute he hit it. Looked good. As he left this red into the left centre pocket. There's a red at the bottom of the pack as well, but I think it's the red into the left centre. Nicely on the black if he gets it.
One.
Yeah, nice shot. And he's got a nice angle. He can go into the little bunch of reds directly above the black. He'll still be on the red to the right corner. It doesn't have to hit it with pace. Just a delicate little stun. Yeah, perfect. And this is where Ronnie O'Sullivan is at his imperial best.
8.
Don't you even think of calling a maximum, by the way.
Well, you never know with Ronnie O'Sullivan, I'm sure. The frame is of paramount importance for us, but that's 2 reds, 2 blacks.
16. 17.
And he's got another 3 or 4 reds in the open there for another 3 or 4 blacks. But at this stage,
Frank.
once again, there's something in the audience. I was just going to say at this stage, frame is much more important.
Yeah, it was much
24.
more important to John Higgins the other day as well when he played Kurt Mafflin, but he went ahead, seized the chance and made that 147, first one that we've had for 8 years at the Crucible. Worth a couple of bob Ken as well, it was.
Yeah, 15,000 for the highest break and an extra bonus of 40,000 from the title sponsors, Betfred. This red left of the pink goes into the right centre. And if he screws
22.
back for black here, he needs an angle when potting this red on the black.
33.
Maybe one loose red, the red above the black to the left, maybe pottable into the right corner. Yeah, nicely on it. And he'll go down for black again, and this is where he needs a nice angle, John.
40. 41.
Now, needs a good split. Blessed with wonderful cue par. It's not ideal pack, but always need a little bit of luck here. Yeah, wasn't ideal, unfortunately. And that's end of break.
48.
Yeah, he was desperately seeing if that red on the right hand side could be potted up into the yellow pocket, but he's not on it as we see the attempted split. So it does look like end of break.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 48.
Yeah, hit the wrong red on that break and tried to split the reds. Didn't get any screw on the cue ball, so has to settle for a 48 break. May be able to play a little snooker here. Corin Wilson can drop the cue ball right behind the blue. Yeah. Very, very good indeed. Okay, would it really need to get tighter to the blue to stop Ronnie O'Sullivan coming off 2 cushions and nestling into this pack. And you just got to be careful here. Don't want to hit it too hard and try and knock a red into play. Yeah, judged nicely. Good shot.
It's touching ball with this red.
Yeah, you could see there just on the very last moment of that cue ball, it's touching that red, so play away. Yep, that's the one it's touching.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, if you can get the cue ball somewhere down the left-hand side of the table here, John, you know, beside the yellow, he will block all the reds down this left-hand side. And he could put Ronnie in a little bit of trouble. Okay, the pack is quite tight, so Ronnie would still have the 2 cushion escape, but try and get distance with this cue ball. Somewhere in the balk area down behind the yellow will do. Needs to travel. But he's got the pink there as a blocker as well, so the reds will be blocked down this left hand side of the table. That's pretty good.
He was originally going to play the red that's next to the pink. Push up and down, I think, but decided to come off 2 cushions, as Ken mentioned.
Foul and a miss. Karen Wilson 4.
Don't know whether he thought about the double there. Maybe it'd have been a shot to nothing.
Yep. Karen.
Didn't expect him to miss it at all, but there was a bit of pressure on it.
29.
No, this is the point I'm making, and it seems like I'm harbouring on about it, but he's under the most pressure he's ever going to be under playing snooker is in the world final, and that's why the importance of the cue ball control is absolutely paramount. I mean, he should have really been behind that in a shot you couldn't miss.
One.
If you keep giving yourself too much to do, you will come unstuck.
Yeah, just could have been a lot easier, that red. Ronnie hasn't played the best shot there. Okay, he's on the green to left middle. That might be a little bit straight. He's on the brown. Well, he's got a slight angle on the green, so he can get up to these reds above the black. .19 points in the lead, so
4.
these 3 reds around the black should do. Won't need that red close to the right hand side cushion.
Noticeable thing, Ken, of course, is he's not really having to work for his opportunities, is he?
Mm.
You know, he's last
12.
2 frames, it's been because Kyron's missed. He's potted 1
13.
good mid-range red where he dragged it in, but other than that, he hasn't had to knock a long ball to get in. His opponent's been giving him table time, and when he's close in, he's as good as anybody.
Yeah, he certainly is.
20.
There's a different look to Ronnie
21.
O'Sullivan. It's quite evident already this afternoon. He looks really up for it today.
Yeah. And not just the evidence of cold steel on his face either, having a shave today. He just looks better in his whole demeanour.
28.
The 2 frames really, if Kyron Wilson's
29.
going to win this World Championship, he had to win at least one of them, I feel. Can't keep having half chances against this fella and not taking them, because he'll come second best.
Yeah, and any other day, Kyron Wilson could have won all 3 opening frames. But he's lost 2 of them now. He's got to score a bit heavier.
39.
Ronnie's body language at
43.
times last night didn't look good, sending out the wrong signals, but today he's sending out all the right vibes to his opponent.
48.
This is a beautiful shot, lots of
54.
left hand side, down for the black. Yeah, the black goes in. Ronnie O'Sullivan puts another frame on the board.
In the middle pocket, so the safety shot from Kyron wasn't the best.
Ronnie was hoping for a little kiss off the red there, but he's still okay. Always had this
8.
red to the right corner. I must say, totally agree with Stephen Hendry. He's hitting the ball a lot better this afternoon. There seems to be a
9.
crispness to his ball striking, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Yeah, he was really poor in his long game yesterday, but so far today he hasn't had to use it. Certainly no long stuns or long screws. And you know what he's like when he gets close in. So everything going well for him so far.
16.
Oh, wow. Just as we
Ronnie
speak.
O'Sullivan, 16.
Where did that come from? Did not see that at all.
Not a good cue ball. Should have been tight to that ball cushion. Now here's a test for Ronnie O'Sullivan. This is where he has to use a bit of pace, John. Yeah, much better. Much better. And that will send an ominous sign to his opponent. That was a tester. Cued beautifully. Right in the heart of the pocket.
Well, here's my answer. I was asking the question, would it be any good when he was faced with the first one, and you couldn't hit that any better? That wouldn't have hit a jaw last night.
Beautiful strike. The cue ball. Dead straight. Gun barrel straight. He's going to need another good one. Didn't get the desired reaction on the cue ball to come back for black. So bit of pressure on this pink into the top right hand corner pocket. This is another little tester. He's got to take it on.
Yeah, good thing is he's taking his time about it. Getting himself ready. Big shot this. Beauty. Two great shots in this break already. The red next to the blue and that pink. Both outstanding.
Well, he was on about trying to buy a cue action online. Maybe it's being delivered. So far, so good for the 5-time champion. Yeah, if he was straight, he could possibly run through with the cue ball, but may have to stun it for the black here. Well, he still played the run through.
14.
And he's played it very nicely.
Yeah, these top players, when they get encouragement,
21.
they don't need much of it. I say the last 2 frames he hasn't been punished. The opportunities he's given.
22.
Hate to say it, but if he'd given those to Mark Selby, I think he'd have probably lost both frames. Kyron's just come up short in those last 2 frames. When Ronnie gets the run on you, it takes some stopping.
Certainly does. One red in the middle of the bunch here. He's got to try and drop on. Looks to be on it nicely, and this will free up
27.
the 2 above the black. That's his target, 68. So another 4 reds, 4 colours.
28.
Well, that frees up the red just above the black, and when he pots that, that will free up another red. So it doesn't have to do much work here, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
35. 36.
It's amazing, John. It's completely different Ronnie O'Sullivan we're seeing today.
Could have come out a little better.
43.
Well, he's on one, but it's going to be the spider.
Well, he's looking at this red into the right centre. It's a bit more difficult. Cute angle into this middle pocket. Is it there? Is it there? Oh, just about. Any more pace on that red and it wouldn't have dropped.
Beautiful little shot that, wasn't it? Little screw with running side round the angles. Makes the, when you see it just go into the far jaw and having a think
51.
about it before it eventually drops in, makes you even more amazed he missed that red earlier in the frame.
52.
Yep. We'll give our two learned colleagues in the studio a bit of stick before. I think Steve might be right. I think he might be given the green light here. It's like Ronnie's been
57.
actively encouraged to kick on.
How much will he rue those? A couple of misses. Karen Wilson still a long way to go though in this final. He's missed this red. Will Karen come back
57.
to the table? Yes, he will. Yeah, still a long way to go though. You know, he's still gonna need 5 frames to be champion of the world. That's what you have to think about when you're sitting in the opposite chair. Long way to go in this final. Anything can happen. We've seen it over the years, John, many times. Comebacks, we've seen it in the semi-finals. We've seen it in the final. Nothing would surprise you. But it's going to take a momentous task from Karen Wilson,
8.
for sure.
Nine.
It's not beyond them.
No, I totally agree with that. I just think he needs to find a little bit of that form he had against Judd Trump, where I think he won 9 frames in one visit. And every time Judd made a mistake, he was punished severely. It's going to take something like that, plus probably a little bit of help from Ronnie. Him missing 1 or 2 would help him, but the way he's looking
16.
today, that might not be coming.
Seventeen.
He'd love to leave the red behind the pink last because it's a straightforward snooker. I'm not quite sure he can do that now. Let's see. He needs to get a lot of action on this cue ball. Try and get close to the red near the cushion, and
Karen Wilson,
he's
17.
missed the black and his chance is gone in this frame.
One. Seven.
So, mid-session interval coming up, and probably a good time to regroup,
8.
chat with his brother, and
With the pink.
That's broke the stalemate though. They could have been there for a very long time.
Yeah, we could have had one of the frames that
1.
Almost a beautiful shot. Using the second red. Just holding the cue ball for the pink to the same pocket. This is tricky. The only thing about playing that shot is he knew the
Ronnie
pink was
O'Sullivan.
staying over the pocket. So it was going to be very unlikely he was going to leave anything on for Karen Wilson. Took the pressure of it a little bit.
Well, we thought the frame had opened right up again with the pink being removed from the corner pocket. Look where it is again. So might need a little bit of sorting out this.
Ronnie knew if he missed the pot, he was going to leave some sort of red to the right middle.
Seven. Eight.
Unlike
13.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, wrong side of the blue, so having to play this red from a bit of distance.
14.
And again, a little bit strong. Okay, he's got the pink to left middle.
He's totally different character to last evening. He looked very tired, lost his focus, lost his cue action. But I think with all that practice he's put in this morning, well, you can tell he's much more focused and his concentration levels are much higher.
Yeah, and he's obviously found something cueing wise, technically. This made him feel a bit better today. We've not seen any of the gesturing with his when he goes back to his chair over the last 2 or 3 days, semi-final and yesterday, with his arms
26.
gesturing that he's not happy with his cueing. It's a much crisper strike he's got today.
27.
But he's not having to work very hard for his
34.
opportunities to win these frames. It's generally been a pretty comfortable final for Ronnie.
35.
Yeah, we showed it a few times. The red that Kyron missed to close to just 1 behind was a big, big turning point.
43.
We showed it a few times. He only really needed that, and he was only 1 behind. Just played to get out onto the black to make absolutely sure.
50. 51. 58. 60.
No double, but that doesn't really matter.
Frame.
Ronnie O'Sullivan extends his lead. That's another one on the board, and he leads Kyron Wilson by 14 frames to 8.
One.
Well, Ronnie decided to take the one on that Kyron thought about. As I say, it wasn't guaranteed where the cue ball was going to finish, but it was a very good pot. But they're slightly easier when you're leading 14-8.
Well, this is going to bring everything into the open. Reds are going everywhere here.
Six. Seven.
He's only had 1 century in the final, which is, well,
12.
I find it incredible, but obviously didn't really play well yesterday,
13.
especially last night. This is a chance here. He's got the black in the open, reds in a nice position.
We're on 79 centuries so far, and the children's charity Jessie May gets £200 for
80.
every century, and if we get to 80, sponsors Betfred will give them an extra 20. Well, it'll make up 25,000. So one more century for that to happen.
19. $26. 27. 34. 35.
'Just totally in his
42.
comfort zone out there. He pretty much knows
43.
inside that he's got this final one. It's just about just keeping that concentration.
50. $51.
Now, a little lesson to amateur players out there in playing that shot. Instead of just trying to play for the blue where you could land short, Ronnie played it with a bit of extra pace to make sure he was going to be at least one of the 3 bulk colours. So the blue's an option as well. So whenever you're playing that shot, overhit it rather than underhit it.
But play it with your correct hand. Don't switch hands like Ronnie did there. I mean, to pull that shot off with his left hand
56.
was a bit special.
57.
No cannon play there because you won't need those reds.
$63.
Red at the back of the 4 is available, as well as the one to the right of the black.
$65.
Just a bit closer to the reds than he was intending. This red will leave Karen Wilson needing a snooker. And it looks like another frame for Ronnie O'Sullivan.
66.
Two more frames to play. Can't win it in this session, obviously. That can get to within
71.
1 if he wins both of them. That's 17-8.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 71.
At the moment, on his reaction, he thought he'd potted that. Kyron needs 2 4-point penalty snookers to tie.
One.
To hit it with that pace, and he got the cue ball exactly
Karen
where he
Wilson,
wanted,
1.
but didn't manage to knock the yellow in.
Yeah, I think he's losing a bit of self-belief now. they can do anything in this match. Kyron Wilson. It's just getting harder and harder. Horrible place to be.
One. Eight. Nine. Sixteen. 17.
Not a good pack to go into, but we know with the cue power that Ronnie has, he generates lots of spin. Does the red pass the yellow to the middle?
24.
Must be tight. Just about.
25.
Usually the case when you're playing well, you do get the little run there, and he didn't quite get into the reds, but that one would just go. It's when you're struggling, the red wouldn't have passed the yellow.
32. $33.
Deliberately leave himself short on the red so he can open up the other 5.
$41. $43.
He'll be disappointed. As he said in his interviews, it was his dream to get to the final of the World Championship. That's what the pinnacle of every player's career is about,
44.
but he's just not performed. He's not been up to the task. You could do with watching this. What do you think, Dennis? Have a tape of this match and watch it back, and just to see the mistakes he's made and how he can improve, because, I mean, let's be fair, he's, you know, he's up against the best of all time, so no disgrace, but there's been frames where he could have
50.
done things differently.
He had a wonderful win against the defending champion Judd Trump, knocking him out 13-9 on that unforgettable semi-final against Anthony McGill. We'll never see another frame at the Crucible quite like that. But it's been tough. He's got close to getting just one frame behind Ronnie, but it's all quite comfortable now for the 5 times champion. And he won't ease up one little bit.
64. 65. $72.
No double, but once again, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Tonight they want to see as many frames as possible. If Ronnie wins this one, there might only be one frame tonight.
And how close was that? I mean, he played this beautifully. I thought this was in. And he was nicely on the black as well.
1.
I remember going back 6-7 years ago, everyone was saying it's a young man's game. You have to be in your early 20s to win ranking events. Ronnie's 45. Mark Williams won the World Championship in his 40s. Stuart Bingham, that wasn't the case.
Moment, please.
Interesting that Ronnie's gone and sat down while Marcel gets the pink in the correct position.
Slightly rolled back, you're right, yeah. Slightly rolled back.
It just rocked back there. It might have been touching the red. It mustn't be touching the red. Because I think the pink pots from that position. You know, he's thinking a few shots ahead, is Ronnie. He still thinks it's touching.
It's not touching now. No.
Who's got the best eyesight? Referee said it's not touching. Ronnie thinks it is.
$16.
Up for the blue this time to go into the bunch.
23.
You would think.
24.
Well, maybe the yellow, now that he's gone a bit too far. It's a thinner blue, though.
Yeah, you can lose a cue ball to corner pockets if you don't get this red full. Just played a little delicate shot.
29. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 29.
Just went a bit too far for the blue to be able to crash into the reds. But not taking any risks. Even though he's got a 16-8 advantage.
You could hear it.
1.
Terrific pot. But as I mentioned before, when you're playing well, you get the little runs, and he got a cannon on the brown there that means he can cut the brown in and get back up to the reds.
6.
Well, there's the lovely Silver Lady trophy that Ronnie has won on 5 occasions, and he's well on his way to his 6th. To equal
12.
Steve Davis and the great Ray Reardon. Still one behind the king of the Crucible.
9.
They dominated for years, Steve Davis, Stephen Hendry. 13 titles between them.
$20.
So that was always going to be a little tricky shot there, just with the shape of the 4 reds and the angle he had in the black, but played it with a little bit of extra pace, so he's got this red to right middle. This is a tricky little shot.
28.
It's a lot easier when you're 16-8 in front and 50 odd points in front. Yeah, he's been schooled a bit in this final. Karen Wilson, it's someone who's just well, he's better than most. He's just a much better player than most players in the game. When he's on top form, almost everyone, but
no, he's put it onto the near jaw.
7.
As Stephen said, there was a glimmer of hope there, but that has evaporated. Already needs a snooker.
1.
But he has been very focused this afternoon, and going into the Crucible at 9 o'clock this morning and spending quite a bit of time on the practice table.
8.
Seems to have done the trick. Doesn't matter about that. It's been a wonderful session
8.
for the 5 times champion, Karen Wilson. Well, he just couldn't get going, missed a few little sort of positional shots that went astray, a few little easy pots made all the difference, and Ronnie O'Sullivan wins the session, and now he just needs 1 frame to lift his 6th world title.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Stephen. I love Stephen's phrase there, fresh and focused. What a different Ronnie O'Sullivan.
He's come out today firing on all cylinders.
4.
Been an awesome display this afternoon.
I mean, the semi-final against Mark Selby was remarkable as well. He looked as if he was heading out. Mark Selby was playing
6.
well, and Ronnie was having a little fling of the cue at all sorts, and then he produced 3 magical frames, including
7.
a break of 138.
Nicely on the black. And he's got a couple of options of reds into the opposite corner pocket.
$14. $15.
Perfect. On the blue, just a stun down for, may stun down for the red, just above the black, but if he comes up short, he'll still be okay with a red into the centre. He's played that perfectly.
20.
21.
2 of his 5 world titles that he won. The scoreline was 18-8. That was 2004 against Graham Dutt.
28.
2008 against Ali Carter.
29.
And every chance he could be lifting that silver lady again with an 18-8 scoreline.
Yes, and of course, it'll be for the 6th time. Joining the likes of Ray Reardon and
36.
Steve Davis. One more to go to equal the great Stephen Hendry. And I'm sure that will keep him going.
37. $44.
And it's a World Championship that's had
45.
everything, Dennis. Lots of wonderful stories, lots of drama. The 147 and those 2 semi-finals. What a treat we've had over the last 17 days.
50.
That's the end. And look at Karen Wilson in the background. He's one of the nicest lads you could ever wish to meet. He's got all his family here with him, and he's got nothing to be ashamed of. He has put up a fantastic
58.
display throughout this year's Betfred World Championship. He really has.
59.
And if he carries on the way he's doing, it's only a matter of time before he does lift the world title.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And beautiful act of sportsmanship there, clapping for Ronnie O'Sullivan.
66.
Well, could he finish with a century break? He's made 12 century breaks.
70.
Somebody in the audience said, make a century, Ronnie.
71.
And he doesn't know it, but if he can clear up here, it'll be £25,000 for the children's charity, Jessie May. So come on, Ronnie.
Missed the green. Oh, lovely. What a shot.
76.
Well, there's no better sight in snooker to see Ronnie O'Sullivan in full flow, that's for sure.
78.
And all the questions will be, can he equal Stephen Hendry's
81.
7 world titles? You wouldn't put it past him. He's 45 years of age. He's playing as good as he's ever played.
85.
Oh, pull up, White. Pull up.
As all great champions do, Dennis. They finish in style. And they're certainly doing that now.
Don't hit the black full ball. Just flick off it. Flick the black.
96.
Take your time, Ronnie. He's miscued. Unbelievable, no century break. One opportunity and great sportsmanship from Kyron Wilson. And nice to see the 2 players having a chat there. 6 world titles for Rocket Ronnie O'Sullivan. Unbelievable. Just one away from Stephen Hendry's record. It's great to see them chatting away. But Ronnie O'Sullivan is the 2020 Betfred World Snooker Champion. Well played to both players.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been, without doubt, the most poignant build-up to any World Championship we've had here in the 44 years at the Crucible. And before we interview these 2 Herculean men, on behalf of everybody connected with this fantastic event, we wanted to extend our gratitude to a number of people. Firstly, to tens of thousands of key workers up and down the country who we'll never meet, and thanks to them, all of us have got back to the job we love, to the sport we love, to the city we love. Equally, to all the familiar faces here at the Crucible, their staff and the World Snooker staff who've put an incredible amount of health and safety in place. You've never seen so many protocols backstage, so much hand sanitizer. Thanks to them, we have felt safe. And lastly, thanks not only to these two, but to all 31 professional snooker players who turned up here in Sheffield on day one to bare their souls to the world and entertain us for 17 long days and remind us what a big part of our lives sport is and will continue to be for many years to come. And Kyron, I'd like nothing more than to give you a hug at the moment. I can't, for all the obvious reasons. This has been an absolutely incredible run to your maiden final. Only 30 men have ever played in the Sports Ultimate Match. That's how hard it is to get here. You should be so proud of what you've achieved over these 17 days.
Yeah, it's, you know, I'm 28 years old. I'm not going to beat myself up too much. I'm playing the greatest of all time. For me, it was a dream come true, knowing that I was going to be playing Ronnie in the final. Obviously, you know, you can't respect him too much or else he'll walk all over you, which is what's happened to me today. So, yeah, for me, look, it's brilliant. I've got the two most important people to me sat right here. They'll learn from this. It'll make them stronger as well.
Listen, you said you rolled over today, but you could have rolled over at 8-2 last night, and you got yourself right back in the hunt late on. You showed some real character last night.
Yeah, I'm a fighter. I'll always be a fighter. I really struggled in the first session. I think we probably both had a little bit of a hangover from the semi-finals. And then I just thought, you know, I'd just relax, let the shackles off, go for it. And I was just annoyed that World Snooker wouldn't let me carry on and play the whole match last night, to be honest with you.
Well, you mentioned that semi-final. I've got to tell, I'm not sure whether your brother Taylor told you this, but he came into the press room and spoke to us and said at the beginning of that frame, he didn't know whether he was going to wet himself or be sick. And he walked 6 miles round the circumference of Sheffield. There were millions of people glued to their televisions. You somehow scraped yourself off the floor. That semi-final victory to book this maiden final was breathtaking, and it will never, ever be forgotten. We're not quite sure how you came through that.
I'm not sure myself. Yeah, obviously, you know, it could well have been Anthony stood here right now. I got Anthony, yeah. Yeah, I was a bit lucky in the decider, but yeah, it was a phenomenal match, one that I'll remember for the rest of my life. And yeah, hopefully, obviously, me and Anthony have a few more battles here over the years. But look, at the end of the day, the night belongs to Ronnie. He was amazing throughout the final. Shown his class when he probably wasn't quite at his best, and still stuck it out. So he was awesome this morning, especially as well. I was very impressed.
Well, that shows incredible class that you are once again turning the spotlight on Ronnie. One other thing I'd like to ask you, people sometimes say there are no characters in snooker anymore. It's absolute rubbish. Yours has been an incredible journey. It's only a few years ago you were off the tour, playing a little bit for fun, working in a bar. You've had these two fantastic young men added to your life. It's lit a fire underneath you, and here you are up at world number 6. This has been a great journey, and it continues to be so.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's lockdowns lit a fire on my head as well. The hair dye. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, I've got phenomenal family, friends, coach, sponsors, everything behind me. I'm a very lucky young man at 28 to have what I have and be playing the sport that I love, and it's given me an amazing life, and to perform in front of you guys has been an honour, and I'm glad that obviously the crowd were allowed in for the final. It's been amazing to perform in front of you guys.
Kyron, spoken like a true champion. You have won 3 ranking titles, and hopefully there will be a Triple Crown triumph coming soon. I can't hand you the silver medal, but would you please step forward to collect your runner-up medal and your cheque? Yeah, that one. And your cheque for £200,000. Kyron Wilson, ladies and gents. Can we hug? We've both been tested. Ladies and gents, we are in the presence of sporting greatness. History has been made tonight by Ronnie O'Sullivan. Absolutely incredible. Your 6th world title, and now you are tied with Reardon and Davis. Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I never really think about titles because when I was a kid, I never dreamed I'd be here. I just was playing for the fun of the game, and I still try and play for the fun of it. But to be here and I've had all them victories, and it's a dream, but it's kind of becoming a bit of a reality as well. So it's nice to be living your dream in that sort of way,
Your last title was 2013. Was there a spell during those years where you thought you might never get your hands on the Silver Lady again?
Yeah, you can never say never, but there was a part of me that decided that, I probably didn't play enough, and I still probably don't play enough to justify winning, a tournament of this stature, because it's an endurance test, and if I'm not really an endurance type snooker player, because I don't compete enough, but, the lockdown gave me a chance to play on some decent, because I haven't even got a practice facility, believe it or not, so my friend installed a couple of tables in his office in London, so I was able to play on good tables for a change, which was great, and I come here feeling comfortable with my tools, really. So I had a half a chance. I never expected to win it, though, to be honest with you.
Spoken with real modesty for a guy that's lifted it 5 times and now 6. Ronnie, there have been so many great achievements down the years. Your first Triple Crown triumph at the age of 17 in 1993, winning this one after a year off, 1,000 centuries, your 19th Triple Crown title when you won the UK in 2018. Where does this sit in the all-time performances of your career? It's got to be right there near the top, surely.
Listen, any world title you win's got to be up there. It's great to be able to win over the 17 days here. You come here, you got to play a lot of solid shots and be solid in all departments. And even though I might not have felt I'd done that, I must have done, because these guys are too good on tour to give it to you. And I just want to say, as well for Kyron, he's a top player. He's improving all the time, and all that. He fell off the tour. He was always going to get back on the tour. When you've got that desire and that hunger and that belief in your ability, you might have to work in a bar for a bit. You might have to do bits and pieces, but deep down that fire is burning bright enough, so you actually get there in the end. And so he's a winner, and he will win this tournament one day. Not to put too much pressure on him, but he is a country mile above everybody else around his age, and he'll be the first to admit that he's always watching the Higginses, the Williamses, and the likes of them players, because he wants to raise that bar as well. So when someone's that student about their sport, that they're going to have plenty of good days as well. So his time's definitely going to come.
Beautifully said. All the pundits down in our studio in London are saying you are now unequivocally the greatest. 37 ranking titles. No one's won more Triple Crowns. Tying Hendry on 7, is it even a relevance? Are you happy to be with Steve on 6?
I'm happy to be on 1. I was happy to get 1 at one stage. 2 was great, and once I hit 4, I went, I can call myself like one of the greats, because all the greats seem to have done it. I look at John Higgins and go, he's a great, So if he's won it 4 times, that's what you've got to do to be a great. Probably put Mark Williams in there just about.
Well, he's won 3.
Yeah, but I'll put it at 4. So anything above 4, you got, you're in that sort of fantastic company, I suppose. But I think 30s. The way I look at it is though, like. It's, with the records with Hendry, it's like if I've played more tournaments than him to get there, I think who got there first? I'm not sure, so you'll have to ask someone of the stats. But I'm always, if I've played 1,000 tournaments and he's only made 500 and I'm just about beating his records, then I'd rather have Stephen's CV, do you know what I mean? So you'll have to get your statistic book out for that. But I suppose my thing has been longevity. I go in and out of form, my mind can wander sometimes, but then I just get a little bit of a taste for it and think, come on, let's see if you still got it. and start to, you know, try and have a go again, like I have done this tournament. You know.
And just finally, a word for your fans. They have followed you for decades. This is a very difficult time for so many people. Yeah. Once again, they have turned out in great numbers. This has been a journey not just for you, but for everybody who supported you. And it must give you great pride that you've given people something to focus on other than the virus over the last 17 days.
Yeah, well, listen, I want to thank my sponsors as well, Affinity. They've been fantastic. You know, without their support, without 19.com support, you know, I wouldn't be able to put the hours in and sacrifice some of the things I have to sacrifice, because like Kyron says, we all need support. You know, we play snooker, but it's nice to have people around you that are able to support you through that, so you can make it such a comfortable ride. And hopefully Affinity are going to try and create a wonderful app where they can sort me out the perfect cue action, because they're good at doing that stuff. So I've given them a task. I said, come on, create it so as I can, like, you know, get the perfect cue action, because, you know, as snooker players, that's all we want to do. That's all. Listen, when you put in 5 or 6 hours in a day, it's not because you like the sound of the balls hitting the back of the pocket. It's like, can I be hitting it straight enough so as when I come and play under pressure, it stands up? And that's why we put all the hours in, not because, you know, we'd rather be sitting there watching Match of the Day, to be honest, or watching you off hanging off of some boat interviewing someone while he's doing the rowing. You know? Well, that was a long time ago, as was your first major triumph. 27 years of longevity, ladies and gentlemen. There is only one Ronnie O'Sullivan. And Ronnie, there is an old silver lady who's been waiting for a kiss for 7 years. Would you please raise the trophy? You are the 2020 Betfred World Snooker Champion.
Congratulations, Ronnie O'Sullivan. You are looking at one of the greatest sports stars this country has ever produced. No doubt about it. And he has fine television choice as well. He watches Match of the Day, JP.
Oh, man of my own heart. But we really should cherish him, to be honest with you. I mean, he's got fantastic longevity, but how many more years he'll go on for playing, I don't know. But it's a treat watching him play. When he plays properly, there's nobody quite like him.
I think he's I think it's officially the only player to have ever won in 3 separate decades. So he talks about his longevity, and he should be proud of that. That's such a tough thing to do. The standard ever improving, and he's still there at the top. And I think he's capable of going even further, certainly into his 50s, should he so wish.
These are brilliant pictures, aren't they? 6 world titles, John.
Phenomenal achievement, and, you know, draws level with the man sitting next to me, which is no mean feat in itself. And he could carry. I mean, it's all down to him. If he wants to carry on and put the hours in and keep playing and competing, he could get up to Stephen's record, that's for sure, and win another one.
And we spoke about this during the tournament as well, didn't we, Steve and John, about the very fact that he's got to be up there with the greatest sports stars that have played the sports. And I was saying to you just a few weeks back, I did a radio interview just a few weeks before the Crucible started, and people were saying to me, where does watching Ronnie O'Sullivan rank with being pitch side at World Cup finals and Six Nations matches? And I said, right at the very top.
It's a treat to come to the Crucible and to come and see him play live. And when he's absolutely at it and at his best, there's nothing quite like it. And the fact he's so ambidextrous, I mean, he throws the cue over and plays shots left-handed other people couldn't play right-handed. I mean, that is just a scary amount of talent that he's got. And let's not forget, by the way, Jason, he's had to dig in as well here. He was 6-2 down to Mark Williams in one of the rounds, quarter-final. He was 16-14 down to Mark Selby. And as good as he is, that's how hard he had to work to win this.
And when he started smashing around that pink, we were thinking, is he on his way out?
Well, he came in with a game plan to play a fast attacking game, and it was a risky one, but it paid off in the end.